Hello, everybody. It's Donica Albert here with You Do You Unfiltered with dun 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 dun. Go for it. Introduce yourself.
Ashley Holmes.
Dun dun dun. That was my dun dun dun. It's like a circus act or something. Yeah, Ashley. And Ashley actually lives in BC, out of
I
Kamloops.
do.
Isn't that great? I am now no longer in BC. I'm now back in Edmonton. And I'm not liking it at all. Just saying. Very busy.
I'm back.
But we're going to be talking about some stuff that will really get to our younger generation, not me, because I'm done that period of my life, thank God. And we're going to talk about infertility, to fertility, actually, right? So that's what you do.
Yes.
That's what you do, and it's fantastic. So let me let me look at this. You birthed my holistic fertility coaching business. That's what
Yes.
you did. Are you like the only one in the world that does this? You
I don't think I'm the only one in the world, but I
want
believe
to be?
I may be the only one who does it the way that I do it. And I
Exactly.
do it that way because that is what worked for me.
And it's unique, right? In your
It
own
is
perspective.
unique.
It's unique, very unique. Because you struggled with infertility, absolutely. That's why you created this beautiful this network for women that are struggling and will be struggling unless they get extra help, which is part of you. And you support women one-to-one to resolve stress, heal mind, body, and spirit. And okay, what's this? Say the big word that I can't pronounce.
I offer Ayurvedic nourishment. So this
Okay.
is the sister science to yoga. And so they go together beautifully and they work hand in hand.
Okay, well, that's what I was wondering because I was wondering what that was. So let's get into your story about your fertility problems and how you birthed this beautiful business that you have to help women one-on-one to get to that place where they can have a baby. Because I know that off of personal experience, I could only have one. You miscarry, but I could have one. I didn't have trouble getting pregnant. I just was a high risk that one was my miracle. But you had trouble having babies.
Yes.
Right. So tell
And
me
so
can you tell me the little story behind that? Because I want people to understand that you just didn't go, whoa, I want to do this. You actually suffered greatly.
yes.
Go for it.
And being in Canada, one in six are struggling. So, and that is globally as well. It's a really high number. And this was over a decade ago that I was trying to have kids. Didn't think this was going to be an issue. Didn't really want to venture into the medical realm until I thought that was my only option. And then I headed down that route. And I was eventually blessed with twins, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that was not a road I was willing or wanting to go down again. And the doctors had no answers for me with unexplained infertility. And I didn't think it was possible for me to conceive any more children naturally. And so I thought just be happy with what you have, right? But that little piece of me always wondered, why wasn't it possible? Why weren't there any answers? And I truly feel like by embodying ancient wisdom and science that I was able to do so naturally and quite easily and quickly comparatively to the first time around, and really was able to experience everything that I didn't think was possible.
Right.
And that is truly where the empowerment comes, is realizing there is so much that we can do for ourselves on this journey and this process to make it so much easier and less stressful, and to stop releasing so many stress hormones along the way.
Well, and I have a quick question for you. So when you were struggling to have children, did you do the medical IVF and all that good stuff? Or did you just say, I believe my body can do this?
No, I was taking fertility drugs. We were told, this should have worked by now. And that's the route we were headed towards. And
Yeah.
it was during that time, sort of when I still had the fertility drugs, but I wasn't quite doing IVF yet. And the pressure was off, that I actually was able to conceive the twins. So there's a lot to be said for the amount of pressure and stress that we put on ourselves to make this happen and try to force this into being.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
really isn't helping or serving us. But when we're in that position and we feel like everything is riding on what we do at this exact moment, down to a science, down
Yeah.
to an art, and it's just like, why isn't this working?
Right. So when you it didn't work. The treatments did not work. So when did you sit down and going, you know what? I got to explore different routes. I gotta get out there and explore the different routes so I can have babies and see what was out there because this is to me, this is kind of brand new, but it's not brand new. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that when my twins were young, I landed on a $5 karma yoga class, and it really just got me into experiencing life in a different way, and beginning to realize and starting to train and understand that I'm more than just my physical body, that there was a lot that I wasn't tapping into or accessing that was available to me.
Yeah.
And also realizing that what I actually needed wasn't more hot yoga. That
Yeah.
was great for strength and flexibility,
Yeah.
but that was really not what was going
Right.
to help me to conceive, because it wasn't until I started to work with my nervous system and embody practices like yin yoga and
Yeah.
restorative yoga that are very healing and relaxing for the nervous system and really
That's
bring in
great.
that opposite dynamic
Yeah.
into my body, that it was able to reach more of a state of rest and digest mode, which is where we need to be when we are trying to conceive. We don't need to be doing more. We actually need to allow ourselves
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah. We need to actually let the body do what it's supposed to do. Right?
Yes.
Because that's the key here in everything that's out there right now is that we're looking for the quick fix. It's
Yes.
expensive,
Absolutely.
those quick fixes. So you now, okay, so let's go back. You've done the treatment, and now you're pregnant with these beautiful babies. How
Yeah.
exciting were you? Like what was running through your mind? Were you questioning what you were doing? Were you like, was it the drugs or was it what you're doing on the alternative
I
side?
think that if I can give the two different scenarios of the pregnancies, where the first time around it was high stress,
Yeah, yeah,
high risk pregnancy, emergency C-section, hard postpartum recovery. So
yeah,
you can really see that the state of mind, your state of being, can carry through the whole entire journey and affect the big picture, the long term.
yeah.
Whereas on the flip side, when I conceived naturally and was doing all of these things and was in training while doing all of these things, I had my water break. I went hiking. I had a natural birth. I was back at Baby and Me yoga 10 days later, and it was a night and day different. Yet I was deemed geriatric at the time. And yet I felt so much better in
Yeah,
mind, body, and spirit, and
yeah.
was truly empowered in what my body was capable of.
Okay, so now how many? No, you have a set of twins. That's
Yes.
you. How many altogether?
I have 3 children. We are complete. We our family is full, and that's why I choose to help others now, because I know what it's like to be in those shoes and to
Yeah,
want
yeah.
those
Crave
babies
it
and to know if that's not going to be possible for you.
and crave, and you're like it's almost like a yearning. Because I know for me, I was high risk, and one was the only one I was going to have, and then you always get that question. Well, when's your next one? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that kind of displays, and that's mind, body, and soul too, as well, because there's pressure coming from the outside world where you're supposed to have two, three, four. I only have one. You know what I mean? And just like you, why aren't you having a baby? Why aren't you having a baby? Why aren't you having a baby? What's going on? And that's a lot of outside stress coming onto the body, which is like going to go, never mind, we're not having babies because I'm stressed out,
Yes.
right? That kind of
It
like,
really is good to
yeah,
work with your body to create
yes,
that safety and security within. And if you're sitting there going, but of course I feel safe, of course I feel secure. And it's like, perhaps your nervous system doesn't, which is what I didn't consciously realize at the time. It was just like, you're too stressed out for this to happen. You're putting so much pressure on yourself, and you've actually been in fight or flight mode for decades.
yeah,
And that is why this is so hard for you.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what you come in handy with your expertise is helping these women get out of that flight or fight, and let the body do its thing. Let it do its thing
Yes.
without any outside chaotic energy going around. Let it do its thing because that's what we're, I hate to say it, but that's what we're kind of built for, is have baby. And you have that choice whether to have babies or not have babies. And that's kind of what you're, that's amazing. Because I've never actually heard of someone who does this ever in my life. For all the years I've been like, since I'm a mom, so my son is 25. Like I've never heard of this, and this is another modality that people are shaking their heads at. So how would you bring a lady to see you, and what would be the steps? What kind of steps would she be taking if she's wanting to see you? Like, what are the
Really,
steps?
I meet women where they're at because we are all unique. We have all had a different fertility journey so far,
Yeah,
and we have all had a different upbringing. And so it's really important to look at sort of what you have been through, what you have tried. If there's healing that needs to occur, if you've had a lot of miscarriages or failed rounds of IVF,
yeah.
then there is grief there, there is loss there that really needs to be tended to before moving forward, before actually, trying and embodying new things, because you can't just bury what is still beneath the surface within you and just sort of pretend like it's not there and that it doesn't exist. And yet, as a society, we're very uncomfortable with these things and we don't tend to want to address them or look at them. And it's very surface level oftentimes. And it's
Well,
just
and it's
like,
kind
oh,
of like
take
a,
this or do this. And
yeah.
it's like, but what is actually beneath that?
Yeah, and it's kind of like foo-foo if you think about it, because a lot of people, you're going to get a lot of resistance, and I'm assuming you work with couples too, or you
I
just
work
work
with
with
the
men.
women primarily, but
Okay.
this benefits the relationship in so
Okay.
many ways. And often they are teaching their partners what they are learning
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
consciously and unconsciously, because when they're coming home from work stressed, then my clients are saying, hey, try this, do this,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
can help you alleviate that stress so that that's not accumulating, because I don't think we realize how much stress we are accumulating, because it's just like, oh, it'll be the next cycle. It'll
It'll
be
be
the
the next
next
level.
cycle. And those
Yeah.
months turn into years and it just becomes this
Then you're too
endless
old.
cycle.
Then you're kind of too old. Kind of like,
Well, we don't want
'cause-
to reach that state where, you're just so
yeah,
exhausted, so depleted from doing and trying all of these things that there's almost no energy left to put in it. And
right,
so, what I'm offering is really replenishing, rejuvenating, so that you don't feel so drained and
right.
depleted as you're moving from cycle to cycle.
Right. And it's kind of neat because not only you do what you do for the people who are trying to get pregnant, but all the things you teach them can help them when they're stressed for the next 18 years of that child's life,
It
right?
is, it is not, it's looking at the big picture of
Big picture. Right.
healthy pregnancy, healthy delivery, healthy postpartum, healthy baby, healthy mom, and what you really are setting yourself up
Yeah,
for in the
absolutely.
long term. That
Yeah,
you
which
have
is
learned how to nourish your health and well being in a way that isn't a quick fix. It's not a fad, it's not a diet. Ayurveda is working with your inborn constitution to nourish you the way that you were born.
yeah,
So it really is living in harmony with the elements, with nature, and working with your system, not against it, and not trying to fit it into a box of what you think is going to work for you.
don't we all do that? We do that. That's our that's like routine for most people. Put it in a box. That's
Oh,
how we do.
this worked for that person, I'll do that. And it is so
Yeah.
harmful to just be jumping onto bandwagons that don't serve you,
Oh,
that are not long lasting, and
no,
leave you in a worse state than when you began. And yet you see it time and time
no,
again.
absolutely.
And
You see
one
it
of
through
the
the
main
video.
things that I notice with women that are coming to me is that they are undernourishing themselves. They're skipping meals, they're doing all sorts of things. And it's like, how can you bring a baby? How can you create life when you don't have the sustenance within you
Right.
to help that to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree totally with that because in order to fully be in, you need to give the body what it needs. And nourishment, healthy nourishment is great. Yes, you can have a cheat day, but healthy nourishment is great because that's how we get our energy from. And then it's just all of it, when you take everything that you're saying and put it all together, you have these magical women having beautiful babies, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's just so precious to actually give yourself this gift and to take the time and energy to focus on yourself and your health and well being because we often put ourselves last and we
So,
don't prioritize ourselves. And we really need to learn to do this. We
no, and
really need to put this into practice and instill this within ourselves.
it seems to be a common theme when I interview women that we forget about us because we're so into everyone else's lives that in order for us, we need to have something to do, and that's everyone else's life. So being who I am at my age, and you'll get there eventually, being an empty nester, and I'm like kind of myself, why does it take me this long to all of a sudden say, okay, well, I have time now, you know? So that's the key. And that seems to be a running theme with a lot of people that I interview about, like yourself, that do these beautiful holistic to remind us, take some time for you. And I love it. I
Yes,
love it. I think it is amazing. And this is what we need to teach the little girls and boys coming up too, as well, which will help hopefully one
absolutely.
day.
I mean, the more mindful and conscious and aware that
Yeah,
we can be of how we are habitually living our lives, what
yeah.
isn't serving us, the thoughts that are repeating in our mind day in and day out, and begin to shift those things and be cognizant of them really does change the trajectory of your life in the long term.
Well, absolutely. I agree 100%. Absolutely. Because there's the problem. We have old belief systems, and we can create our own belief systems, take a little from the old, then we get to move forward. And it's kind of neat to see it happen in my child as well, being 25, so it's I love that you do what you do, because women are giving a lot of money over to medical science, which is not doing a thing because they're not digging deep and peeling away the onion to get to where they need to be to have babies. And that's stress. I know that stress plays a huge, huge role in the body, top to bottom, but it plays an even bigger role on reproduction. And I get that. Holy moly. Yeah, I get that. And then on top of it, you're paying for drugs. So this financial stress. You know,
Yes.
yeah. So that's
There's so
absolutely
much, and the clinics aren't typically, depending where you are, but I know when I use the clinic, you leave the clinic and it's like, and now what? You are
yeah,
caught in your mind, you're stuck in your mind, you're trying to be
yes,
perfect, you're trying to help yourself, but you're not in a state and place to actually be able to help yourself.
exactly.
Because I
Exactly.
was getting books about, emotional freedom techniques, and it had body scans and it had all the things in it and things to write down and reframe your thinking. But could I do that for myself at that point in time? That workbook is completely empty because I couldn't do those things for
Yeah,
myself because as
absolutely.
much as I wanted to, I wasn't in the state and place to be able to. So I
Yeah.
think it is so important to actually have someone to support you and to hold your hand because your partner is in it with you and they can't be your everything and anything as much as you want them to be, which is
Yeah.
also an unrealistic expectation I placed upon my husband because I was like,
They don't have that in
man,
other countries.
no, I know the issue lies with me, but like, do
Come
something
on,
else for me
man.
here.
Exactly, exactly. I agree 100%. So you do everything online with people, or do they come and see you? How's it work?
It is all done virtually wherever you are, and you receive coaching calls from me, you receive yoga classes from me, and meditations, and you really just begin to heal and replenish and restore everything that you have gone through and begin to understand how your body is functioning. All the signs and signals you're receiving on a daily basis are actually very crucial, vital, important information that we often have not even been taught or clued into. And we often are so out of tune and out of touch. And there's a huge
Absolutely.
disconnect between the mind and the body.
Always, always, in every realm of life, actually, to be honest with you, every realm of life. And we're not perfect. There's days where I'm
No.
disconnected and there's days I'm connected, and then there's weekend that I might be disconnected. You know what I mean? We're not perfect, but we're changing the world, it's a learning curve. And we have people
Mhm.
like you to help us change that learning curve so people can get to where they want to be. Okay, so you do everything online. That's fantastic. So your all your information is going to be there. But you're so funny when I when I said something quirky. Well, what do? You live in yoga pants
I
all the
do.
time. Okay,
Pretty
tell
much
everyone where
all
you
the
get your yoga.
time.
Tell everyone where you get your yoga pants from. Where do you get them
I'm
from?
a brand ambassador for Pineapple Clothing, and so I
Where?
love them,
Wait,
and
what is
they
it
are
called again?
great.
What's it called again?
Pineapple Clothing.
Okay, you need to put that link in there too, would you?
I
I'll put the link in
I
there.
did.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Because
you
I
can
always look, I love leggings. I live in leggings, but you're just looking, I love them. So I'm always looking for a different legging kind of company. So I'm Pineapple, like, okay. I have never seen those before. Are they comfy? Buttery
they're the
soft?
best. They are the best. It's just because I literally do yoga every day, and I'm just like, I can do yoga anytime, anywhere. I could be at the beach, I could be in the
At the
backyard on the
airport.
grass, I could be anywhere. And I just love that. After I had my last child, I was just like, why do I want to spend my time being uncomfortable? It's my life. I get to choose how I want to be and how I want to feel. And I want to do yoga every day. So if I wear
I
leggings
remember,
every day, I will.
and you will. I remember my mom going, "What's on your? What are you wearing, Mom? They're tights." Well, shouldn't you have a dress on? No. So that's old school. I love it. So, can you tell us the ages? I want to go back a bit. How old are your kids now? You have twins?
My twins are
Identical?
11.
Are they identical?
They are not identical. They are boy-girl twins, so they are
Okay.
not identical.
Okay.
And my littlest is 5. So there's a big, huge span of time.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact, and really why I birthed my business was during the pandemic, being home with my little one and not being in person teaching classes anymore, and realizing he would not be here if I had not experienced and been through everything that I had been through. And there was a reason and a purpose for that. And it was really
Yes.
helped to ease the suffering and struggling that so many women are
Oh,
experiencing.
absolutely. And then it's kind of like, I think COVID did that to a lot of people, to be honest with you, even me. But that is fantastic because I took COVID and I got certified in a bunch of stuff that I kind of use. But I was interested. It's just education, right? And that's what you did. That's fantastic coming out. So I'm excited about your leggings, that's for sure. But I'm really excited that people now have somewhere to go when they're totally fed up with the medical system and IVF and what's the other one they do now? It's IVF is the one, and then there's another one they do for fertility,
Yeah,
infertility. There's a bunch of
there's
them.
many there's
Yeah, there's
many things that
many.
they do. But
There,
also, if you're
surrogacy.
Canadian, you're listening to this, there's often one city, one place to go to,
Yeah,
often with one
absolutely.
clinic in this country, and the travel, the expense,
Oh, it's
all
awful.
of these things add up. They take
Yep.
a toll on you, on your health and well-being, and this is something that you can do from the comfort of your home in
Yes.
your own time and
In
space,
your
and
leggings, and then your
these
tights,
leggings.
and your tights, and no bra. I'm just kidding. That'd be me. Comfy in your own home, being comfy with you. That's
It really does matter that you're not really adding all of these things on top of it, because I know I used to sneak out of work and
yeah,
not be telling people and
right.
transparent of where I'm going,
Yeah,
what I'm doing,
yes,
when I'll be back, and
yeah,
all of the rest of it. There was a
yeah.
lot of silent struggling and a lot of just hoping that I didn't have to answer too many questions, and knowing that this is going to help you on your journey, no matter where you are in your journey, and really prepare and create that fertile foundation within.
Well, they have to. They have to. And that's why reaching out to you would be a great start when you know you have a
Yes,
problem. When you know that
yes.
there's something that's blockage. There's a blocking and it could be energy, it's you. Well, and that's the thing. I hate to say that, but it kind of is, and that's how this world rolls right now. We live off stress half the time, most of the time, actually, to be honest with you. And then if you're trying to have a baby, it's doubly hard. So I love it that you're going to take all these women and say, come to me. I'm going to teach you how to get rid of the blockage. And it's
Yes,
perfect. It's so perfect for now in our society.
it
Absolutely.
definitely is because we don't even realize what is happening inside sometimes. And I didn't realize the reason the doctors couldn't find anything is because there wasn't anything to be seen on a test. It was
Yeah.
energetic
Yes.
that
Absolutely.
was
Yeah. Yeah,
was
absolutely.
the
Yeah.
issue. And
Yes.
I think that we can definitely take our health and healing and happiness into our own hands whenever we consciously choose to, and
Yeah.
just shift that locus of control from external to internal and know that you can do so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then as I say, there's always that beautiful way. If that doesn't happen, adoption is awesome too as well. Yeah.
There
If
are definitely so many ways to mother, and you don't have to give way to society's
ab-
expectations of you. And I think it's really just finding peace with where you're at,
yes.
wherever you are in your journey, because I think without that peace, then you always just feel like something's missing, something's not right, something's not aligned, all the rest of it. And I definitely can attest to that being a huge part of working with me is even when your period comes, it's not so aggravating. You're not so angry. You're not so frustrated. You're not so disappointed to see
Okay.
it again because you begin to shift your internal state of being where you're accepting and loving and kind to your
Yeah.
body versus resentful and angry.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, when you get to my stage where in your menopause, I expect you to do something with us because it's anger. I'm just kidding. It's a change, all new change. So when you get there and you're flipping from what you're doing to us, let me know. Because that's another stage in our life that as a woman that you're like, oh my God, really? But I love what you do. It's fantastic. There's a way, there's a lot of women out there that have struggled with getting pregnant. And if you're out there, please get a hold of this beautiful lady, Ashley, in Kamloops, BC. And you probably do it everywhere, right? If they're international too, as well. I'm assuming that you do it everywhere.
Yes.
And please get a hold of her. She'll get that body right so you can have those little cute, beautiful little babies of joy, little bundles of joy, I call them, and have a
Yes.
fantastic life with motherhood. Because I gotta say, my son's 25. He's my miracle baby. I only could have one, and the time goes by fast. So yeah, please get a hold of you in good old BC. Love it. I love it. And it's wonderful to have you on here. I'm excited. I would love to revisit and see and have some stories about some of your clients as well, and let people know what's going on. That'd be so much fun. Just so cool to have. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It would be my pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for coming and talking with me. And I hope you're having a wonderful time in BC, where I'm in Edmonton. One day I'll be back. But yes, have a wonderful day and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.